I am Consort Leng, not of royal birth. I raised a prince for many years, so when she ascends the throne, naturally, I expect her to repay my kindness.
Then what is it that you want?
Of course, I want to become the most honored woman in this palace.
Edict in hand, I paused. The highest ranking woman is the Empress Dowager.
What I want is to be the Empress.
The Queen! That was a major mistake, so I could only bear the title of Empress Dowager and force myself to pursue the Emperor. Yet 9 years have passed, and my efforts to win him over have made no progress at all. As a transmigrated consort, I couldn't stand watching this any longer. You want to pull this off in the palace? That's pretty wild. The Empress also coughed and said, I remember in your previous life, you were burned to death in a fire for 3 days and 3 nights. Oh, that was the Emperor's doing. No, it was me. The Empress is a reincarnated woman. In her past life, she was a strict moralist. When she found the Empress Dowager loved the Emperor, she burned me to death. After her crime was exposed, the Emperor executed her. Reborn, she started letting herself go, while I, from her memories, suspected the Emperor loves me. She even wants to avenge me. The Empress glanced at me. After all, I killed the Empress Dowager, and she was just enforcing the law. Don't overthink it. The noble consort pondered for a moment and said, if you want to know whether she likes you or not, just go ahead and test her directly. Your Majesty, would you like to have some fun with a man? The Empress's expression was complicated, and the corner of her mouth twitched. Later, the noble consort started collecting portraits of handsome men for me, sending them to my palace in a steady stream. They piled up on my desk, stacked like a mountain. Whenever the Empress came to pay her respects, she would casually pick out a couple of portraits and critique them. Having lived through this life once before, she was thoroughly familiar with all the prominent families. I've heard this one isn't any good, she would say. This one frequents brothels. Wasn't this one just dismissed last month? The Empress shivered, accidentally letting the scroll fall to the floor. She spat twice in disgust, then wiped her hands with a handkerchief. Casually, she picked up another portrait, but as soon as she opened it, she froze. Holding my teacup, I looked over curiously. The person in the painting had striking eyebrows and eyes, an air of longevity, and the cry of a crane. Truly extraordinary bearing.
This one is good.
The Empress snapped back to her senses.
The noble consort really has connections, even managed to get a portrait of the regent.
I suddenly started coughing.
The noble consort has gone too far. Each one is more outrageous than the last. Did she even screen them at all?
I snatched the painting from the Empress's hand and threw it out the door. The scroll tumbled down the steps, finally coming to a stop beside a patch of bright yellow.
Mother, what are you trying to do now? That's little uncle.
I wasn't interested in the regent at first, but the way the Emperor treats me like I'm not even a woman really gets on my nerves.
Your little uncle is actually of the same generation as me. So why can't I do anything?
The Empress tugged at my sleeve.
You probably can't. He's technically your uncle-in-law. Empress, if you don't speak, no one will think you're mute.
The Emperor acted as if he hadn't heard anything, simply putting the painting away and returning it to the desk.
Mother, stop making a scene. It took me a lot of effort to make you the Empress Dowager, so please don't stir up more gossip in the court and among the people.
The Emperor skimmed the scrolls on the desk. After a few names, he lost interest and cast them aside, disdainfully saying,
They're just the sons of commoners.
The Empress and I, pressured by her imposing manner, nodded in agreement and said, Indeed. They're all ordinary vulgar women. At this moment, the noble consort came running in again, carrying another large stack of scrolls. The Emperor smiled and said,
Noble consort, you seem to have a lot of free time lately.
Your Majesty.
The noble consort dashed behind me as if the wind was at her feet. The Emperor simply threw all the scrolls out the door, dusted off his hands briskly, and then began to lecture us on the spot.
One is the Empress, the other is the noble consort. Neither of you does anything but play cards all day. What kind of example is that?
He didn't mention me, but I took the initiative to stand by the Emperor's side and said,
I also feel that this is quite improper.
The Empress and noble consort glanced at each other with disdain. The Emperor turned and said through gritted teeth,
Especially you. You're the Empress Dowager. You spent all day leading them astray.
I looked uneasy. The Emperor ordered all the scrolls the noble consort had brought to be taken away. This could be called a failed venture before it even began. It's all over. Everything's gone. The noble consort raised her eyebrows and said, "No, I still have one." He pulled a scroll from his robe and tossed it to me. Having hidden it, I felt its heat, still warm. The Empress looked disgusted. The noble consort snapped, "Give it back." "Let's look first." The scroll unfurled to show a dignified gentleman. We were stunned, but the noble consort looked proud. Healthy, single, and virtuous. The Empress was incredulous but agreed. I had already asked his opinion. Seeing the Empress's look, the consort hid the scroll and muttered, "Sorry, I missed his dating history. Let me pick another." I stopped her hand to save her. The consort glanced at the Empress, doubting the appropriateness.
It really isn't appropriate. He's my brother. He's alive. I'll make arrangements right away.
The noble consort acted fast. Next day, she secretly arranged for the Empress's brother to meet me by Daming Lake. Her brother, Shen Shu, is the Imperial Academy director. Ice-covered Ming Lake today. Shen Shu, dressed lightly, handed me a hand warmer from his sleeve. Knowing I felt the winter cold, I accepted it, noticing his nose and ears were red from the chill. I sent for some sausage and found a sheltered spot. Then I told him the noble consort's plan. Shen Shu sighed, keeping his head down.
What if he isn't interested?
Then just forget it. I'm used to it anyway. It's been 9 years already. At worst, I'll just keep being with the Empress. Also, the noble consort always loses when playing cards with me. I'm about to go broke. Shen Shu thought for a long time before finally speaking.
What if she isn't interested? I'll help you leave the palace.
I once waited at the Guozijin exit, stopped Shen Shu, and asked him to tutor the young emperor. We are longtime friends who have always supported one another.
You can't waste your life in the palace.
I have friends, the Empress and the noble consort. They're both very good to me.
Are they really good to you?
Shen Shu reached out and took the golden hairpin from my bun, weighing it in his palm several times.
After all, you're the current Empress Dowager, and yet you only wear a gilded phoenix hairpin. Just how much have you lost?
I've been losing for 2 weeks. It hurts. I claim it's not about the cost, but gilded is just more practical. Shen Shu took the hairpin.
Forget it. Don't wear it anymore, immortal elder.
Hurry up and give it back to me. The original version of this phoenix hairpin was a gift from the Emperor on the day I was made Empress Dowager. Shen Shu dodged backward, hiding my hand behind his back. I simply moved the chess pieces in the middle and lunged at him to snatch it back. Shen Shu, stop messing around with me. If the Emperor finds out, I'm doomed. Just then, the door to the entire pavilion was suddenly flung open.
Even the Empress Dowager knows she's doomed now. Looks like I arrived a bit late. My teacher was about to become my father.
I froze completely, not knowing what to do. Suddenly, a hand gripped my waist. Shen Shu met the Emperor's gaze.
I'm not fast.
He personally pinned the phoenix hairpin back onto my head. Only then did I get off the bed and walk over to the Emperor. "Are you here to bring me a cloak?"
I knew the Empress Dowager was sensitive to the cold, but I didn't expect she'd already ended up in teacher's arms.
Shen Shu bowed to Li Yishan and said,
The cloak was prepared for me by Her Highness. Sorry to trouble your majesty to make a trip.
The Emperor was just about to hand me the cloak, but when he heard it was for Shen Shu, he paused.
Teacher, wearing so little in this cold weather, seems you're not afraid of the cold at all. My health is strong, your majesty. It's the Empress Dowager who worries too much, afraid that Chen Shou might catch a chill.
As they spoke, the Emperor walked over and draped the cloak over Shen Shu, pulling it tightly around him.
Teacher, after all, you're not young anymore. You should dress warmer. I'm the same age as the Empress Dowager, your majesty.
So after all this, you're saying I'm old?
Mother? That's not what I meant.
Shen Shu walked over to my side and squinted his eyes. The Emperor spoke in a sarcastic tone.
Getting old means becoming everyone's mother, huh?
Before the Emperor could say anything, Shen Shu bowed and took his leave. As he brushed past me, he secretly slipped a small package into my sleeve. I weighed it in my hand, the corners of my mouth lifting slightly. Today, I got up very early. The Empress and the noble consort were continuing the battle they left unfinished last time. The Empress came as soon as she got the message, but the noble consort was nowhere to be seen. The Empress, bored from waiting, simply lay down on the table and took a nap. By mid-morning, the noble consort finally arrived, holding her waist as she walked in. Ah, damn that Emperor. He suddenly summoned me last night
and made me talk with him all night in his chambers.
I thought there were ghosts haunting the palace, but it turns out it was just the noble consort playing music. You But what happened to your face? I saw that the noble consort's fair face was marked with several fine red scratches. The noble consort said angrily. What else could have happened? I accidentally fell asleep right on the strings of the kin. The Empress and I couldn't help but burst out laughing. The noble consort, displeased, said with a half smile, "Go ahead and laugh. Let's see if you can still laugh when it's time to draw lots for hairdressing later." The Empress looked at me and said, "Didn't the Empress Dowager already finish talking about the Phoenix hairpin? Trying to get something for nothing, huh?" I curved my lips into a smile and took that package out from my sleeve. "Look at this, everyone."
What's that?
I quickly unwrapped it, and the dazzling, gleaming gold ingot caught everyone's attention.
Wow, the little emperor sent you money. Why do you care who gives me money?
We stood there from day until night, until an uninvited guest arrived. Just as the imperial consort was hesitating over which card to play, a hand suddenly reached out from behind and knocked over a card. The imperial consort grumbled as she set the card back up.
Who told you to mess with that?
Empress and I glanced together. The emperor appeared behind the imperial consort. Ignoring him, she pondered her move, but he reached out and flipped the card.
Just play this one.
She was shocked.
That's strange. Am I hearing things? Why does it sound like that dog?
She turned her head back, half in doubt, and quickly switched to a smiling face.
Your
Majesty, what brings you here?
I heard my beloved consort was here with the Empress Dowager, so I came over on my own. You all keep playing, just pretend I'm not here.
The three of us exchanged glances. Who could possibly pretend he's not here? The imperial consort lowered her head and continued to play her cards. The emperor, smiling, slipped the card he had chosen into her hand. The consort began to explain. "You can't play it like this. This card is actually useful."
But I just want to play this one. Can't I play it?
The empress smoothed things over. "Of course, your majesty. Play what you like for fun." The consort glared and threw her card. The empress grabbed it.
I won. Hand it over.
Hand it over. I take back what I just said about the Empress. The consort's darkest hour had begun. The Emperor was very interested in her cards and kept interfering with her decisions. He really wanted to play. The consort lowered her voice and said,
Wait, your majesty. The Empress Dowager wants that card. You can't play it. You really can't.
I was sitting there with my face in my hands, eagerly waiting, watching the Emperor's lowered lashes.
Then I'll play this one.
The consort fell silent as that card was played. My reaction was about the same as the Empress's. I won! The mirror is gone. After that, the Empress and I no longer had eyes for the Emperor, only for the God of Wealth. We started chatting with the God of Wealth. The Empress said a few days ago, a foreign country presented us with red coral chopsticks as tribute. They're really quite nice. The Emperor thought for a moment and said, "Consort, let's play 2 sticks." The consort's face twitched. The Empress said, "Sister consort, just play your cards, don't talk." So it turns out you can do that. I learned something new. I realized. Tonight the moon is very round, a full moon. The consort giggled and said, "I don't have heterochromia." The Emperor spread out his hands.
I just drew a card. Play a set.
After a few rounds, the consort was almost completely out of chips. When she was forced to play a card, and both the Empress and I won at the same time, she finally lost it.
Your Majesty, you're so mean. Are you targeting me? What did I ever do to offend you?
We're not arguing, so please don't curse, all right? You accidentally hurt me, the Emperor said calmly.
Consort, mind your manners.
The consort was also quite wild.
I've no manners, so why care? Thanks to you, I've lost it all.
Lost everything. It's best to return to the palace. I've exposed you.
The Emperor's eyeing the consort. The Empress sensed trouble and slipped away, leaving me face to face with him. "Have fun today?" he asked. I looked at the gold. Of course. I rarely replied. I grabbed some gold and said, "I still have all this money." "You mean this?" Shen Shu gave it to me. He knew how badly I lost. The Emperor loosened his grip, and the gold ingot rolled to the edge of the table.
You and he are that close? You add clothes for him and he gives you gold.
Close? During those years in the cold palace, Shen Shu and I.
And you. Weren't you all relying on each other to survive?
When Shen Shu was studying at the Imperial Academy, he was often bullied by his classmates. In the dead of winter, his clothes would be soaked as he walked alone along the palace corridor. When I stopped him, his face was deathly pale, his teeth chattering from the cold. I dried his clothes for him in exchange for him tutoring the young prince. He agreed. It was also then that Shen Shu developed a chronic weakness. He couldn't stand the cold, which is why I would add clothes for him. As for the gold, in previous years, Shenchu would often give me money to help me take care of the servants, but after I became Empress Dowager, I didn't see her as often, so I didn't need to spend money anymore. The Emperor gazed at the bright moon through the window, his voice growing a bit more somber.
The only one who depended on me for survival was my elder sister.
Before her reign, she called me sister. Once crowned, she called me Empress Dowager. I stayed silent. She paused, then stood up.
No longer Empress Dowager. Stay away from court officials.
Hearing this annoyed me, so I pushed her toward the door.
Rain will fall and mothers remarry. Even an emperor can't stop them.
Lately, the Empress and noble consort are rarely seen. Maids say the noble consort is the harem favorite, and the Empress is losing sleep. Suddenly, it became a palace intrigue. One morning after the Emperor left, the Empress stormed the noble consort's palace, smashing items, including a zither. Despite her excess, most supported the Empress, blaming the noble consort's arrogance and disruptive nightly festivities. As Empress Dowager, I should have disciplined the disobedient favored consort and comforted the Empress, who was lashing out. I went there in high spirits, but both the noble consort and the Empress were asleep, so I lost interest and left. I told the palace attendants to have them see me when they had time. When night fell, they arrived and immediately started arguing.
Are you really trying to force me to move out? We've been talking about your lousy zither night after night for half a month now, sister.
The Empress was slumped in her armchair, eyes half open, dark circles covering the upper half of her face, radiating heavy resentment. The noble consort was half reclining on a soft couch, eyes closed, yawning.
You think I want to play? I don't even know how to play the zither. It's the Emperor who insists on listening. Look, my fingers are practically worn to the bone.
The Emperor.
Enjoy zither this much?
The consort glanced at me, eyes lighting up. I have an idea. He'll never ask me to play the zither again. He held the Empress's hand. She said nothing. The consort tried to shake her hand, but I stopped her. Don't, she's asleep, the consort said. Let her stay here tonight. Next day, she held a friendship class. Concubines joined to learn her guqin technique. I went too. After half a day, her skills were clearly flawless. Mid-lesson, someone questioned her. You call that playing the guqin? It's a disgrace to the art. The noble consort laughed heartily, saying, His Majesty simply likes her unrefined skills. Soon, the sound of string and bamboo instruments filled every corner of the 6 palaces, the cacophony lingering for days. I heard that during those days, before the Emperor even reached her palace, he would cover his ears and turn back the way he came. Only my palace, being farther away, remained relatively peaceful. One night, influenced by the atmosphere, I had a guqin brought to the courtyard, along with the revolving lanterns the consort had gifted me. As the candles were lit, the lanterns spun. The dazzling glow filled the pavilion like a dream. The consort picks fine gifts. I curved my lips in a smile, my fingers brushing the strings. Then, a familiar voice came from the doorway.
You play the guqin too.
The Emperor entered through the doorway, speaking gently as he walked.
Everywhere else is too noisy, so I could only pass by your place.
I'm skilled in music, chess, calligraphy, and painting. I also cook and dance. Too bad you haven't seen it. The Emperor smiled and changed the subject to the revolving lantern.
This lantern is finely made. It's rare to see one so well crafted.
I replied dismissively. The consort gave it to me. He stared, then waved, and the candle was extinguished. The courtyard darkened. I stood there frowning. You can't stand to see me happy, can you? Unfazed, he replied calmly.
The consort is playing matchmaker for you and Shenchu. Who knows who actually gave you this lantern?
I took a deep breath, realizing we were about to argue. I told someone to put away the zither strings to prevent them from being smashed later.
So what if Shenchu gave it? We've always been close friends. He taught me music, chess, calligraphy, and painting. Even this zither was his gift.
With every word I said, the Emperor's face grew darker.
So he asked you to play Phoenix Seeks Its Mate?
No, I was the one who wanted to learn it. That's the only piece I know how to play.
I stood under the eaves facing him, furious and speechless. He flung his sleeves and left. The Emperor then banned palace music. Upon receiving the decree, the imperial consort smashed her zither and sneered, trying to compete with me? Despite the winter, the sun felt warm today. The Empress, in high spirits, invited me out. The imperial consort prepared a brazier by Ming Lake to brew tea around the fire. Also, the consort lost favor, and she wanted to celebrate. Near Ming Lake, we saw the consort with a man. They were struggling intensely, unclear what exactly. I glanced at the Empress.
Let's head to my palace and relax instead.
The Empress glanced at me.
Won't you act on it?
I paused briefly.
Technically, you're the Empress, so you should handle it first. If you can't, then... But since we're both here, it's not really my place to speak. You're in charge of everything.
I half said no, turning back to look at Empress.
Not coming to my palace?
The Empress smiled, suddenly shoved me forward and loudly called out, "Empress Dowager!" The Imperial Consort and that man looked over at the same time. I was just about to compose myself and get ready to scold the Imperial Consort, but as soon as I saw the man's face, I turned and ran. "Run, hurry, it's the Regent!" The Empress didn't understand what was happening and got dragged along by me. "Are you crazy?" Despite the palace ban on running, I dragged her to a corner to spy on them. The Empress grumbled, "We're the Empress and Dowager. If we flee like this, people will think it's a coup." I hushed her. "But that's the Regent Prince and Noble Consort." She widened her eyes, slapping my hand away. "If it's him, is she rebelling? Then I'm no longer Empress. I give up. Is anyone here normal? If the Regent Prince actually usurped the throne, what happens to us? Well, you'd be the Empress Dowager."
And I'd become the Grand Empress Dowager.
The Empress rolled her eyes at me. "What does that have to do with anything? I never said whether I'd be the Empress Dowager in person or just in name. I've already died once, so I don't really care." The Empress swaggered out, continuing to help the noble consort. I stomped my foot in frustration. I followed, and back at Ming Lake, only the noble consort remained. She grilled us food. As I ate roasted sweet potatoes, cooling them, the Empress saw I was focused on eating and asked about the noble consort and the regent. It's a long story. I promised him something before, but now I want to go back on my word, and he refuses to let it go. "So what did you promise him?" He asked me to help him meet someone. I don't really understand. Are there really people in the world whom even the regent can't meet? When the late emperor was on the throne, the regent was his youngest brother. Xingxi has always been unconventional, and his inner strength comes entirely from the Empress. After thinking for a moment, she turned to me and asked, "Have you seen the regent in the palace over the years, Empress Dowager?" "Yes, I have." I ran into her a few times in the cold palace. She used to often tease the palace maids there and so on. In both my lifetimes combined, I've never heard that the regent has a fondness for women. But I wasn't lying. Back then, the young prince liked to play in the cold palace, and whenever he saw someone even slightly attractive, he'd ask, "Is it you?" Or, "Why haven't you come to see her?" And things like that. The noble consort poked her head over and gestured at me with her lips. "So he asked you too." He did ask me. After all, I was the #1 beauty in the cold palace. It didn't take long for him to come to me. "So how did you answer?" At the time, I immediately knelt down and shouted, "Your Highness, spare me!" I was quick-witted. Didn't I know? Soon everyone copied me, and he stopped coming. The Empress warmed her hands. "Isn't it obvious? He was looking for someone in the cold palace." He pointed at my messy mouth. "Likely he was looking for you." I wiped my mouth. "Why me? My life is colorful enough." The noble consort set down the tongs, tossed a sachet at me, and said, "He's definitely looking for you. You'll understand once you see this." Skeptically, I opened it. He took the wrong one. This was written for me. He pulled out another sachet from his bosom, and this time, he checked it for me first. After confirming it was correct, he handed me the note. Silence. Silence is tonight's Cambridge. The Empress widened her eyes in disbelief and said,
"How could you even get this wrong? Come on, it's been 9 years!"
Frightened, I threw the note to the ground and stomped on it several times. How could this be possible? "My mission is to help the little prince ascend to the throne, and then become the Empress." The Empress sighed and said, "The little prince's intention might also refer to his rank, not his age." The imperial concubine spread her hands helplessly and said, "I'm not in your line of work, but I've heard that strategists all have systems. Where's your system?" It died. 9 years ago, a fire broke out in the cold palace. I woke up as a deposed consort. The system explained my mission while I tried to flee, but the fire was too fierce. I found a rainwater vat and hid inside. There I found a pale, unconscious boy. Fearing he would drown, I gave him air mouth to mouth. After the fire, I learned he was a prince born there. Unexpectedly, the system wasn't waterproof and drowned. I could still hear the playback. The Empress and noble consort exchanged glances of disdain.
Host, our mission is to help the prince take the throne and reach a loving emperor and empress ending. No need to run. He'll save us. Just wait. Wait, I'm not waterproof. Glug, glug.
I slapped the table, suddenly realizing the truth.
I see now why my mission was so hard. He was supposed to rescue me, take the throne, and make me empress. But it's all a mess now.
All those years of suffering were for nothing. What do we do now? Help him rebel? The Empress relaxed her brows and leaned back, finally finding this life a bit interesting. The Imperial Consort shrugged. Go see her first, then decide. She's waited for you for 9 years. I glanced at her out of the corner of my eye. How much did he pay you? Give me half and I'll go. The Empress fixed her gaze on the Imperial Consort, her eyes glinting. Did you also take his money for that portrait last time? That's when I realized, apart from the regent's portrait, which was strikingly handsome, all the others had their own flaws. The Imperial Consort, sniffling, went back to the palace to fetch the money. A few days later, I went to see the regent. I rarely looked at him directly, but now, up close, I noticed he was even more attractive than in the painting, though his complexion didn't look too good.
Do you know that? I searched through the burning ruins and scoured the cold palace. I always thought I was too late, that you had already... Yes.
Sorry, system failure, just a misunderstanding.
The regent took a deep breath and pounded the arm of his chair.
Is an apology useful? For these 9 years, I've been fighting alone. I even ended up as the regent because of it.
He pulled a black rectangular object from his wide sleeve and tossed it onto the table.
Knowing I'd see you today, I brought this for you especially.
What the... You even set up a memorial tablet for me and wrote memorial tablet of the strategy guide on it. I was relieved. At least he doesn't know my real name. The regent gritted his teeth and said,
I've worshipped you for 9 years. Does your conscience feel at ease? If I hadn't met that transmigrated woman, I wouldn't have even known that the Empress Dowager was that fool.
Don't insult me. I spent 7 years suffering in the cold palace. I didn't want that either.
I pushed the teacup in front of her a little closer to him, patted my face and smiled, saying,
Have some tea.
I don't want any.
I handed him the pastries on the table.
Have a pastry.
He looked away, refusing.
I don't want it.
Every single target in this whole world has some kind of problem.
Then what do you want?
He frowned slightly and looked at me.
You really have no patience with me at all, do you? Don't you want to make up for the 9 years you missed? Why is my life so miserable? I'll just take my memorial tablet home and cry.
No, no, no! Let's talk this out calmly. I'm just asking, what should we do next?
I've already checked with the higher-ups. If you marry me now, the strategy mission will be considered a success, and we can both go home.
If we marry, we don't have feelings, do we?
I do have feelings for you. A kind of longing for the past.
I slowly backed away, looking disgusted.
As Empress Dowager, marriage is inconvenient for me.
She leaned in, the corners of her mouth curving up.
But I'm the kind of regent prince who specializes in marrying Empress Dowagers.
Wait, so who's actually pursuing whom here? The Empress Dowager marrying the regent prince? This is all way too sudden. Besides, she was getting way too close, so I gave her a hard push. The regent prince clutched her chest, pretending to be weak, and said,
Could it be? You've already fallen for the young emperor, or is it Shen Shu?
He sat down, looked me straight in the eyes, and said very seriously,
Do you understand the pain of thinking your wife from 9 years ago was long dead, only to find out she's alive and well, and even wants to marry someone else?
Why the riddles? I sighed. No, I'm arguing with the emperor. She won't let me leave. The regent prince's eyes brightened.
That's fine. I'm best at overpowering people. I can compete with her for you. Besides, do you know why you two are arguing?
Really? You know about that too? Your spies are everywhere. She held up 10 fingers in front of me.
Because he's not the right person. 9 years. And you still haven't ended up together. But for me, just seeing you once is enough.
I looked at him. He was handsome and charming, yet imposing when silent. But once he started, he talked incessantly. My target was indeed a simple task. The regent waved his hand in front of me.
Why aren't you saying anything? Not satisfied that I'm your target?
The regent took a box out from his sleeve and placed it on the low table. He opened the lid, revealing a large, smooth, luminous pearl. It glowed with a faint blue light.
This is the finest thing in my residence. Please accept it as a betrothal gift.
I've never seen anything truly valuable. The phoenix hairpin, the revolving lantern, or her luminous pearl. I just looked without touching, then looked back at her.
You really want to marry me? I'm not joking. My life right now is still manageable.
She pushed the box toward me.
Now that we've met, you won't have to just get by anymore.
I stood up, steeled myself, and accepted his betrothal gift. The regent escorted me out and muttered softly.
With so many portraits last time, you didn't choose me.
I remember that time I liked him at first sight, but when I heard he was the regent, I tossed it aside. Later, the emperor dealt with all of them. I made an excuse, saying maybe the portrait just wasn't as good looking as the real person.
What a pity. I heard you went to see Shenshu.
His tone was completely casual, but as I stepped over the threshold, I was so startled I nearly tripped. He reached out to steady me.
Why so flustered? You aren't wrong. It's just a pity. We've always lacked that bit of fate.
Turning his hand to look at me, he looked down with a faint smile, showing a calm, gentle air.
I asked around, how were your 9 years? You found joy in hardship, caring for the prince, helping Shenshu, and mastering the arts. If only I had met you earlier. With me, there would only be pleasure and joy. There'd be no need to find happiness in hardship.
He deliberately made his sentimental words sound frivolous with a hint of trust, but I didn't find it funny, just slightly lost in thought. Then he turned to complain.
But for that fool in the cold palace begging every passerby, I'd have found you long ago.
I clenched my fist, forced a smile.
Yes, yes.
A girl changes a lot as she grows up. After 9 years, she probably doesn't remember it was me. Once outside, the wind and snow hit us in the face, so I lowered my head even further. She deftly took off her outer robe and with both hands, draped it over my shoulders.
Go back and have fun. Wait for me to marry you, if it's possible.
What do you want me to do? He slowly helped me tie my sash, then finished the second half of his sentence.
In card games, don't wait for the same card all game. You're just too stubborn. No wonder you keep losing.
I thought he was going to say something important. I showed my disdain. I already find it hard enough just to listen for the right card.
But if others know which card you want, they won't play it for you.
He looked at me steadily, his eyes quite sincere, and extended his hand.
Lu Hui, alias ZUI.
After a 9-year delay, we finally met in triumph. When the imperial consort and the empress found out that I was about to complete my mission and could finally go home, both of them, who were pregnant, came to my palace to throw me a farewell banquet. In the end, we all got drunk. The empress, holding a wine pot and squinting her eyes, let out a long sigh and said,
It's still better to be a strategy heroine. At least there's something to look forward to. As a reborn woman, all I can do is wait to die. And maybe, if I'm lucky, be reborn again. At least you're in your own home. For us who transmigrated, if we're lucky, when we die, we can go back. If we're unlucky, we just grow old and die in a foreign land.
I lifted my glass, smiling bitterly.
I've always envied you two. You can do whatever you want without having to please some lousy man. Everyone knows that people call us strategy heroines bootlickers. I've worked hard for 9 years. And in the end,
After becoming Empress Dowager, I leaned on the imperial consort's shoulder, my gaze unfocused as I looked at her. Do you understand that sense of absurdity? The Empress shook her empty wine jug and muttered, If you want to be Empress, I'll let you have it. Who wants it anyway? The imperial consort tilted her head back and sighed. All I want is to play on my phone for a while, scroll through some short videos. Sigh. Suddenly, the atmosphere turned melancholy, and the imperial consort stood up.
Today, the reason we've all gathered here is for our good friend. Oh,
What was your name again, Empress? You know, back when I was Lady Meng, I really should have.
slapped her twice.
Then she wouldn't have to be Empress. The imperial consort pulled the Empress and me closer, pressing our heads down with her hands, as if we were plotting something. Since you don't want to be Empress Dowager, you don't want to be Empress, and I'm just a talented woman. Why don't we just let the regent rebel? Let him take all of us away.
Great idea. Why didn't you say so before? Well, I used to be the imperial consort, you know, living a pretty comfortable life back then.
The Empress was speechless. In just a few sentences, they were already discussing whether to settle in Hangzhou or Yangzhou in the future. I hesitated and raised my hand.
I won't!
Of course I don't want to rebel. When dynasties change, it's always the common people who suffer. Even though I don't like the emperor always restricting me, he hasn't really done anything that deserves to be overthrown, has he, ladies? His crimes aren't that serious. The empress said he tried to kill me. The imperial consort said he abused me. The empress and the consort looked at me, and after thinking for a moment, I said, she turned me down. And to be honest, all of us have our own issues to some extent. Are you trying to blame the victim here? The argument began. In her past life, the Empress was an arsonist. The imperial consort was a con artist who swindled the regent, so I'm probably the only normal one here, the consort retorted.
You can say that about the Empress, but not about me. I was just unlucky, caught up in some weird girl's development game twist.
The Empress also spoke up.
Before, I served my country, but the consort was a fraud. You're just a late-blooming creep.
A few days later, the regent proposed in court to marry the Empress Dowager. It's said that the censorate collectively opposed it, with a clear reason. It violated the rights and laws. Even though I had never met the late emperor, I still couldn't escape the status of being his consort. Lu Hui smiled faintly and looked at Lord Song, the chief censor, and withdrew a memorial. A couple of days later, rumors about Lord Song and his widowed sister-in-law's scandalous affair began to spread in the capital's restaurants. Lu Hui sent us storybooks. Later, he again proposed marrying the Empress Dowager at court. He said that though he gave up before, Lord Song's incident inspired him to try again. This time, the censorate stayed silent, but some still opposed it.
The Empress Dowager is the Emperor's adoptive mother, not just any noblewoman. Historically, Empress Dowagers only marry down. No one of lower status ever marries up to one.
When Shen Shu's words reached my ears, I was genuinely moved. Since Lu Hui couldn't mention in front of others that he had already met me in private, he asked the emperor to inquire about my opinion on his behalf. So, for now, the matter was put on hold again. That very night, the emperor came over with a sullen face.
Mother, are you still managing to keep up with everything?
She placed her hand on the edge of the table and gently tapped it twice.
First it was Shen Shu, then it was Uncle the Prince.
With a sidelong glance, I stood tall.
I can manage.
No? He looked confused.
Listening, get the point.
Yes, I did. Tell Lu Hui that I am willing to marry him.
You're even joking about something as important as marriage?
I looked at him and said seriously, but I'm not joking. Life in the palace is long and drawn out. Even if you try to pass the time, when the excitement fades, you can't help but feel empty inside. If I hadn't mistakenly thought the strategy mission was about him, I wouldn't have wasted my time here. The emperor was slightly taken aback and fell silent for a long while.
And if I refuse? After only 2 years on the throne, you'd marry my uncle? Where is the respect for the Son of Heaven?
How to be a good emperor is your business. As for me, all I want is to marry.
Lu Hui.
Finished, I stood up to go inside, but he suddenly grabbed my wrist. I turned around, but he kept his head down, whispering,
Last time was my fault. Don't avoid me again. I asked my teacher, was Phoenix seeking its mate something you learned for me?
She paused, lifted her eyes to look at me, her voice tinged with hoarseness.
Sister, I have always known your feelings for me, but I just can't put them into words because of all these gaps and obstacles between us.
I tried to adjust my wrist, but he refused to let go in the slightest. His fingers tightened a bit, and there was a hint of helplessness in his tone.
Don't use Shen Shu or Lu Hui to provoke me anymore.
A muffled voice came from above my head.
My feelings for you have never changed. I have always treated you with restraint and propriety.
He sighed, turned his head away, and his voice sounded even more plaintive.
You went to see Shen Shu, so I went to see the noble consort. I insisted on listening to her talk about love for half a month, but you didn't react at all.
I was stunned when I heard that. Her interactions with the noble consort were meant to make me jealous? How was I supposed to know that? Seeing that I didn't say a word, she shook my wrist again.
I plan to wait for more power to bring you to the palace with status. But if you must rush this, I can do that too.
My mind went blank as I repeated.
So tell me, what is it that you can do?
The emperor slid his fingers down into my palm and said in a very low voice,
I can come at any time that you give me a call.
I pulled my hand away and suddenly stepped back. I was already halfway out the door, just one step away from going home. And yet, you show up now to seduce me. My mind was filled with the voices of the empress and the noble consort.
You player. Are you crazy? There are no feelings between us. Everything in the past was just a misunderstanding. Besides, I really am going to marry Lu Hui.
The emperor looked unsettled and confused, but when he heard me say I was going to marry Lu Hui, his whole expression tightened, as if covered in a layer of frost. He walked toward me, his voice suddenly turning cold.
Why? Why do you still say that? I've already admitted defeat. Or have you already changed your heart? I'm younger than him, I have more status than him, and we've known each other for 9 years. Did you fall in love with him at first sight?
The Emperor stared at me intently, his sharp gaze leaving me nowhere to hide. I couldn't be bothered to conceal myself in front of him anymore. I turned slightly, looking at the pale green window lattice, and began to speak about my story in a calm tone. Your Majesty, I am not the late Emperor's talented Lady Yung. I came to the Cold Palace because I hadn't completed my mission. I thought you were the one I needed to win over, which is why I tried so hard to please and tease you. It was only recently that I realized the person I was supposed to meet back then was Lu Hui, and I was meant to marry him. Only then could I leave this world. Coming back to my senses, I looked at him steadily and said, I have no feelings for either you or Lu Hui. What I long for is not anyone's love, but simply my own release. He frowned, pressed his lips together slightly, and took a few steps closer.
Do you think that by making up such an absurd story, I'll forgive you for shifting your affections?
Talking about loving someone else is pointless. I have proof. System, replay your last words.
Host, we just need to crown the prince and get the happy ending. Simple, right? Don't run. Come get us. We just need to wait. Hey, stop! I'm not waterproof!
The Emperor's face was expressionless. He had to accept it. But after he left, my attendants were gone, and guards were at the gate. He had put me under house arrest. 3 days later, I saw the noble consort and Empress again. They were stuck atop the courtyard wall. The noble consort dangled her legs and softly called my name. The Empress stretched her arms, walking along the wall, looking for a tree to climb down. I carried a ladder to the backyard to help them. Once down, I learned something major had happened. At the morning court, the Emperor announced that the Empress Dowager was so ashamed and furious over the regent's proposal that she had fallen gravely ill and was bedridden. The entire court was shocked and knelt in fear. The regent did not believe it, so he asked the noble consort to check on me, only to find that I was under strict guard. The Empress, the noble consort, and the regent all understood what was really going on.
Tell me, what happened between you and the Emperor? She's actually spreading rumors outside that you're dying. What happened?
He said he likes me.
And then I gently turned him down.
Maybe he just got anxious.
You chased him for 9 years and then rejected him. And you're even going to marry his uncle. Of course he's anxious. The Empress poked her in the head and said, don't treat the Emperor like some lovesick fool. He's just using the Empress Dowager as a pretext to suppress the power of the regent. The Empress has lived 2 lifetimes and truly understands the Emperor. The only reason he climbed from the Cold Palace to that dragon throne was because of his sharp political instincts and outstanding political skills. If the regent forced the Empress Dowager to her death, he'd be condemned by everyone for life. The noble consort tilted her head and said,
but you're not dead yet. And I'm not even sick. If I'm right, I'll be gone in a few days. You guessed right. These past few days, the entire palace has been preparing. Even the coffin is about to be delivered.
I sigh. The Emperor's plan is clear. Faking my death gives Lu Hui leverage and severs our bond. 2 birds with 1 stone. Typical of him.
There are 2 choices in front of you. One is to stay and continue your tortured romance with the Emperor. The other is to escape the palace and marry the regent for a happy ending. Which one will you choose?
Do I even have a choice? Both of these options seem terrible. Staying and continuing a tortured romance with the Emperor is absolutely out of the question. It goes against my original intentions. Escaping the palace and marrying the regent would be the same as exposing the Emperor's lies in front of the whole world. Everyone knows that since I was 15, I raised the current Emperor in the Cold Palace for 7 years. After he ascended the throne, he was full of gratitude toward me. She made me Empress Dowager to win the people's hearts. In the eyes of the world, we are the model of a loving mother and filial son. If people were to find out that she won't let me marry, secretly keeps me under house arrest, and frames the imperial uncle, I'm afraid it would cause all sorts of trouble and bring about unrest. As noble consort listened to my analysis, her frown deepened.
Yet you keep defending that damned emperor? This won't do, that won't do.
The Empress Dowager isn't defending the emperor. She is only maintaining the stability of the regime. The Empress understands me. I can't throw the entire country into chaos just because of personal feelings or grudges. The Emperor and the Regent simply cannot coexist, and if I get involved, it will only accelerate the conflict and intensify the contradictions. Although Lu Hui said he inquired above, and that marrying him would allow me to go back, what if it doesn't work out? If I can't return home, that would be awkward. The noble consort pulled out her golden hairpin and stirred the charcoal fire.
Can someone tell me what our next step is?
I leaned back and closed my eyes for a moment.
You just mentioned escaping from the palace. How exactly do we escape?
So it turns out that Lu Hui had already made arrangements with him. As long as I wanted to leave, he had people in the palace ready to escort me out of the city. Lu Hui is not a bad person. His words can be trusted. The noble consort gripped her golden hairpin and scratched at the charcoal fire, as if she were carving something. You should go. If you can return home, then even if the sky falls here, no one will blame you for it. Go on. If Lu Hui leaves as well, then there's nothing left to worry about here. I stood up and walked under the eaves, closing the sky off. The winter wind, even as a gentle breeze, was cold enough to take your breath away. I had lived in the palace for 9 years, but this winter felt the longest of all. I waved to the noble consort and the empress, and they came over one after the other. As I was about to leave this palace city, it felt as if the memories of the past 9 years were all awakening. I had soaked in the big water vat, met the emperor when I was 15, and the food in the cold palace was terrible. Penniless, life with the young prince was miserable. The head eunuch even groped me. I endured it, fearing him. When the prince found out, he smashed the man's hand with tiles, making our situation worse. We often sat back to back, fainting from hunger. Before I turned 16, I met Lu Hui by the cold palace gate. Eunuchs told him I was the woman he sought. With a sharp voice, he said, some people had better hurry up and climb faster. I didn't dare look at Lu Hui. I just hurriedly knelt on the ground and begged him to spare my life. When I met Shen Shu in the palace corridor, I was 17. I was in the corner of the cold palace drying his clothes by the fire, asking him who had bullied him. He wouldn't say, so I had the young prince take the opportunity to follow and find out. Shen Shu remembered exactly who those people were, and when they were on duty in the palace, I disguised myself as a wandering female ghost and scared them so badly they wailed like banshees. After I turned 17, because Shen Shu had money, I grew wealthy too. While Shen Shu talked the prince, I relaxed. Those 2 years were pleasant. At 19, the prince left for the emperor's side, but visited often. I learned arts from Shen Shu. Mastering Phoenix seeks its mate by 20. Then Shen Shu left, and the prince visited when possible. No eunuchs dared trouble me. 2 years later, the prince took the throne. I moved here and I met the reborn Empress Yan and the transmigrated noble consort. I, Minchun, simply smiled and shook my head. No.
Now I am a somewhat foolish and exceptionally talented young woman.
The noble consort and empress listened intently until I startled them. They turned away, wiping their eyes. I went inside, packing to flee the palace. The noble consort followed, asking, when should I inform the regent? I handed her a luminous pearl, saying, give him this, tell him the wedding is off. If he will still help me leave, I'll wait tonight. Holding the pearl, she asked hesitantly, what if he refuses? If he is unwilling, I will make sure to leave word before I die, that I did not die because of the regent. Let them believe it was due to excessive grief and misplaced anger. The empress closed the door, her brows tightly knit, and said, you want to turn a feigned death into a real one? I nodded, my gaze resolute. There is no way out of this palace gate. Then I would be at the mercy of others, and would even implicate noble consort Lu Hui. I hurriedly stuffed the luminous pearl back into her hand.
I can't pass on these words. I can't harm anyone. No matter if it's Lu Hui or the Emperor, neither of them would let you die out of longing.
I held his hand, forcing him to look me in the eyes. Don't cry. I trust Lu Hui. He will come to save me. What I said just now was only a hypothetical. The Empress said this to the noble consort. It's all right. If you don't dare, I'll go deliver it for you. The noble consort watched as tears welled up in both our eyes. I'll go. She didn't go. The noble consort, not daring to look at us any longer, turned and ran off. She climbed over the wall the same way she came and left again. The empress stayed in my palace, waiting for the noble consort to return with news. As night fell, the entire palace gradually sank into darkness. The empress lit a lamp inside the room, and seeing me standing dazed at the door, she asked me to help her light the footlights all around. When the last lamp was finally lit, a muffled groan came from behind the courtyard. The empress and I grabbed lanterns and rushed over. It was the noble consort, crouched down and rubbing her knee, panting heavily. It's okay, someone's coming for you tonight, she said. I hugged the noble consort, weeping against her shoulder. The empress smiled through tears, helping the noble consort inside. Come, it's freezing, she said. We supported her into the room. Once seated, she urged me to pack quickly before something went wrong. Our rescuers were arriving during palace shift changes. The empress helped me pack only small valuables. Soon after, they urged me to climb the wall. I struggled to the top, but seeing the emperor's procession nearby, I slipped and fell.
The emperor's here!
The noble consort's face showed shock as she took several steps back.
It's over! Now what?
Carrying my bundle, I hurried back. I can't leave anymore. If I leave, you two are doomed. The Empress clenched her fingers into her palm, her brows tightly furrowed. She climbed to the top of the ladder and stuck her head out to look around. After a moment, she jumped back down. I have an idea, she said, pulling the noble consort and me back into the room. She took the burning candle from the candlestick. Remember what I did in my previous life? The noble consort pointed at the candle and said, "Deliver fire rice." The Empress nodded, her expression growing even more resolute. "Set fire to the palace. Let the Emperor be unable to enter. We'll use the chaos to escape." I also turned to fetch a candle and set the window drapes alight. The flames climbed up the window lattice, suddenly crackling and growing ever brighter, symbolizing light and the future. The three of us exchanged glances, the firelight reflected in our eyes. "Let's go together." The Empress and the noble consort each went to ignite the flammable objects around us. With the dryness of winter and a light breeze, the entire palace was instantly engulfed in a sea of fire. We hid behind the hall and hadn't been there long. We heard startled cries from outside the door, and then many people rushed in. It was the guards and eunuchs coming to put out the fire, running and shouting in chaos. 4 or 5 skilled men climbed over the courtyard wall from outside and took the 3 of us away. By the time we saw Lu Hui again, we had already left the capital. He rode his horse from afar and stopped beside our carriage. I lifted the carriage curtain to thank him. Lu Hui frowned slightly, his feathered bandage stained with blood, and said,
"Do you know how upset I was when I received your letter? You would rather die than marry me."
I blinked and said, "If I
married you, I could go home." Was that a lie? The task I accepted requires 2 conditions to be fulfilled.
Lu Hui showed no embarrassment at being exposed. Instead, his expression became even more relaxed.
But I meant no harm. You and I were meant to be together. If you marry me and want to go home, it wouldn't be difficult for me to secure that position for you. If you don't want me to go after his throne, I have no intention of doing so either.
I sighed and smiled helplessly, saying, "I knew I wouldn't be able to go home. Since that's the case, why insist on being with you or anyone else?"
Then where do you want to go?
"Traveling and sightseeing with my sisters." The noble consort squeezed out from behind and waved at Lu Hui.
The 3 of us sisters will never forget the regent's great kindness.
The Empress lifted the carriage curtain, revealing half her face, and spoke softly.
"Thank you, Your Highness."
Lu Hui mounted, bowed his head and smiled.
Last night, there was a fire in the Empress Dowager's palace. The Empress Dowager passed away, and both the Empress and the talented lady perished in the fire while mourning her illness.
She squeezed her legs, and the horse started to walk away slowly. Lu Hui didn't look back, just raised his hand and shook the riding whip. The carriage wheels rumbled and turned again. The noble consort, the Empress and I, squeezed together in this tiny carriage. Yet it felt as if the world was vast, and the road ahead stretched endlessly.
Where should we go first, Hangzhou or Yangzhou?
I think we should head straight for West Lake. I've heard the osmanthus wine there is excellent.
Why is it always West Lake? Can't it be East Lake? Where is East Lake anyway? I don't know either. It just sounds cooler, doesn't it?